Welcome back everyone to my channel. Thank you for joining me again for my second YouTube video ever. Yeah, the first one was quite the experience. In many ways, the second one is even more daunting because now you kind of know that there are actually people out there watching it, and far more than I anticipated, which is really lovely. And so many of you are actually already followers on Instagram, and you read my blog and listen to my podcast. So yeah, now we're here building a little community, or maybe one day a larger one. We'll just see what happens. But yeah, let's get straight into the topic for today's video, shall we? So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to talk about a couple of underrated K-beauty products. Now, underrated or underhyped is always a bit of a subjective category, I guess. I've seen a couple of underrated K-beauty TikToks where I have to say I had to heartily laugh at the products that these creators chose, because they usually were some of the most hyped products in the Korean beauty niche, at least in the West, that I can think of. Stuff like, the Cosrx nail essence. Not really a secret that needs to be discovered, a secret hidden gem. I think everyone knows that particular product by now. For me personally, an underrated product is a product that actually people don't talk about versus products that everyone knows. So I chose 5 products that I really do believe not many people, at least in the English-speaking K-beauty and Asian beauty community, talk about. I always have to be careful because as someone who is not Korean and doesn't live in Korea and doesn't speak Korean, I of course always come from an outsider's perspective and have to be very careful calling myself, for instance, an expert, or saying that I know best when it comes to K-beauty trends, or that I know some secret that I'm sort of discovering, because it might very well be that the secret is just me being a silly foreigner who doesn't know that in all the Korean-speaking forums, the very products that I think are underrated are like old news, So coming from an outsider's perspective and defining underrated mostly as products that I think, from what I can see, are not really talked about much by the English-speaking skinfluencers and YouTubers and content creators in the skincare and K-beauty niche. And they are 5 products that I am actually really passionately in love with. If you follow me on Instagram, and you should follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen them because I keep hyping them up in the hope that I will make some form of difference and more people will use them. I only have a small following, so I can't really be much of a trendsetter at this point in time, but maybe through this video, finally, I can finally talk people into trying them, because they're so fantastic. These really are products that I consider to be K-beauty gems that I just cannot understand no one hyping up. My secret belief is that it's probably because the brands might not work with the English-speaking influencers. They maybe don't need the Western markets. But be that as it may, I really hope you will enjoy discovering, quote-unquote, discovering these 5 underrated hidden K-beauty gems with me. And the first product I want to talk about is this one, and that is the Thank You Pharma Rice Pure Clay Mask to Foam Cleanser. How is no one talking about this? The only influencer I've seen talking about this, and this is actually where I got it from, because I won it in one of the giveaways. Thank you for that again, Eunice. Is Eunice from the Uni channel, and she's an influencer, a Korean influencer who lives in Seoul. She always does really amazing videos on skincare, and she also does shopping tours where she takes us with her to Olive Young and other stores. I just love it. When I watch her videos, all I do is like just jot down my wish list. And she actually showed this cleanser and a skincare routine. The moment I saw it, I knew it would be a hit. I just knew it. I got tingly. My spine was tingling. I got the sixth sense, and I was like, this is gonna be amazing. So when I won it, I was just beyond excited. So what is so special about this cleanser? Well, it's already in the name, right? It's a mask to foam cleanser. Now, I don't know about you. I do love clay masks. I think they're fantastic if you have congestion issues. I do around the nose in particular, the whole T-zone. And here on the chin, I think it's because my chin fat kind of presses down here. It just creates this little nook where I get really annoying breakouts and whiteheads in particular, especially around the time of my period. And so I really like to do a clay mask roughly maybe once a week, not as often as I used to, because now being over 40, I also need to be careful not to dry out my skin too much. And I feel this is the problem with this, the clay masks, that basically they are just a little bit too drying and they're really a pain to wash off. This is why I tend to avoid them for too long and always kind of hesitate. It's almost like an act, like an event when you do a clay mask, I feel. Because, first of all, you have to put on this paste and then you have to wait, and then it dries down and it just gets kind of crumbly and annoying. And then to remove it, it's just almost painful sometimes, depending on the quality of the clay mask. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a grumpy old person at this point in time, but they annoy me a little bit, especially the fact that they dry down. You have to remove the whole thing, and it's an act, right? Now with the foaming cleanser, oh my God, it's ingenious. Why has no one thought about this? So basically you can use this just as a cleanser. Then you just use a little bit in your hand, and you just rub it in your hands and then apply it, and then it's just like a regular foaming cleanser. But you can also, and this is what I usually do, put it on like you would a clay mask, and it functions exactly like a clay mask. It has the exact same texture as a clay mask. It does feel a little bit smoother, I find, than other clay masks. And it just really goes onto skin quite smoothly and nicely. And then you leave it on for a couple of minutes. What I usually do is I just brush my teeth while the mask dries down, and it does dry down almost exactly like a regular clay mask. However, because it is a mask to foam cleanser, it is so much easier to wash off. It just rinses off like a dream. You really don't need a long time at all, and you really just can feel so much better about using it, because it doesn't destroy your skin. When you tear off those, it sounds very brutal the way I describe it, but anyone who's used a clay mask ever, especially if you have dryness issues, you know what I mean, right? Those little clumps that sometimes you just need a lot of water and sometimes a little bit of rubbing to get rid of them. It's not great for your skin because it can create these micro tears on your skin. It's not fantastic. And with the Thank You Pharma cleanser, you just avoid that because it is so much smoother to wash off, because it just foams up while you remove it. It's ingenious, and it has the exact same effect as a clay mask. After you use it, it just makes your skin so much cleaner and clearer. It feels like a bit of a detox for your face. It just gets rid of all the impurities. It draws out all the gunk in your pores, and you just look and feel so much cleaner, I guess. Oh, that's maybe a difficult word to use. You feel like your skin is more clarified. Let's put it that way. So this is from their rice, the Thank You Pharma rice. What's it called? Rice Pure, I think. Yes, Rice Pure skincare range. It has a toner as well, which is fantastic, and also a cream, which I'm super keen to try. I haven't tried that one yet, but I do have the toner. It's wonderful. So it contains rice extract, which can be brightening and just overall good for the skin, just for skin conditioning and keeping the skin merrier. nice and subtle. It also contains Job's Tears water. Job's Tears is actually an ingredient that I feel is quite underrated when it comes to K-beauty. It's used more in Taiwanese beauty and also in Japanese beauty. If you know that Hatomugi skin conditioner from a Japanese brand, I forgot what the Naturie is the brand. I actually have that as well on my shelf. Hatomugi is Job's Tears. Very often Job's Tears extract and water is used for oily skin because it can help balance sebum, and it also has a slightly antibacterial effect without drying out the skin, and is also just, again, another skin conditioner that is really, really good for the skin. And then, of course, the cleanser also contains kaolin clay, which is the white clay, and it's the most commonly used one, really. And also, I think the one that is the most gentle, the gentlest one, compared to, for instance, the green clay, which is a little bit more aggressive, very good for oily skin, but for more sensitive skin, the white clay or the pink clay is usually the one that is used. And yeah, it's just such a good product. I really hope more people try it out. I've been so happy with it. I'm already kind of eyeing all the sales on it in case I run out, because I will definitely repurchase it. Now, the only thing I have to say, I would be careful if you have dry skin with this one. It is less drying than a regular clay mask, but it is drying nevertheless. It is certainly made more for someone with oily skin, combination skin, or again, if you have congestion issues in this area, in the T-zone. What you can do if you do have dry skin, maybe just use it in the T-zone. So only put it on here, and maybe don't let it dry down too much. Usually 2, 3, up to 5 minutes is enough if you want to use it as a clay mask. And again, you can also just use it as a regular, very, very gentle cleanser, second step cleanser for your skin. It's great. And guess what? It's also usually not that expensive if you get it on special, on sale. The next product I want to talk about, I actually only just received as a full size. I ordered it from YesStyle. It was on special there. I had a little sample size of it and just fully fell in love with it. I didn't know anything about the product. At first I thought it was for the hair, but no, it is for the face. And I just used it and was like, whatever, let's just see what it does. I'm not sure about this one, but just, how do I even describe how amazing it is? I'm going to try my very best, because it might look almost a little bit, shall I say it, boring, which is why I underestimated how good it is, and which is why I also think, apart from it also being a little bit pricey, I also think people might overlook it because at first glance, there isn't that much to it. But at second glance, and especially at first try, you're going to absolutely fall in love with it, I promise. So I'm talking about the AROMATICA Vitalizing Rosemary Concentrated Essence. I had to look up the name there. And it's so good. See, it's only in this tiny, teeny bottle. It's 100 milliliters, like the Saviours Essener, if you know that one, which is also excellent. And it's usually around like $40, so it's not cheap. However, it is a concentrated product, and I do feel that it actually lasts quite a while. I had a little, I think it was maybe like 15 milliliters sample, and that lasted me forever. So I'm very hopeful that the full size will last for quite a while, even though I do use it almost daily at the moment because I love it so much. So what is so special about this? I don't know if you happen to know the Tir rosemary essence, which is even more expensive. I have not tried that one, but I know it is very popular in Korea. And rosemary is just, it's a very interesting herb to me, because as a German, rosemary has a long tradition. And you know this as well if you live in the rest of Europe. It's a very Mediterranean thing as well. Rosemary has been used both for medicinal purposes as well as, of course, cooking for centuries. I want to say millennia. I think even the Romans already used it in their cooking. Rosemary is a very pungent herb. It has a very strong smell, and you actually smell this in this essence as well. It smells quite strongly. quite strongly of rosemary. So first of all, I want to say that it's probably not for everyone. If you don't do well with fragrance and essential oils, this is not the product for you. It will probably aggravate your skin. It's also certainly not an essence that I would recommend for dry-skinned people. It is more, I would say, for combo to oily skin types. Now, what does rosemary do? First of all, it is strongly antibacterial. It has phytochemicals that can really help regulate sebum production, oil production, and it can just balance out the skin if your skin is sort of producing excess oil. It also helps with pore care. Now, nothing can shrink your pores. You can't really do anything to get rid of your pores, but you can do things that keep the congestion and sort of the gunk out of your pores and sort of keep them clean. And that will make them appear smaller, which is all we can do really. Also because, you know, we all have pores and it is actually not natural to not have pores. That is Photoshop. Poreless people do not exist. And so, yeah, this one, basically, it pretty much only contains rosemary extract, plus a little bit of glycerin and some stabilizers, and of course something to preserve the product. But it is labeled as a quote-unquote 100% rosemary extract essence. But you might have watched, I think it was Kelly Driscoll who did a video on those 100% Artemisia or mugwort essences. It is, of course, never 100% just the herbal extract, because in order to make it an extract, you have to extract it into some form of medium. It's either alcohol or water, or in this case, apparently a mix of water and glycerin. Now, glycerin is a humectant, so it is a water-grabbing ingredient. So that means that the essence also gives you a little bit of hydration. And I certainly noticed that when I put it on. It has a really lovely texture. It is quite watery, but you can feel that it has a bit of a slip, a bit of a viscous slip to it. And so I do feel when I use it on my skin that it does feel hydrating. I usually do layer it with another toner or a thicker sort of serum or essence, because otherwise it's not enough hydration for my skin, because at 43 I do notice quite a bit of dehydration issues. I feel if you got oily skin, it might be enough. If you have oily combo skin and still are younger, it probably is also enough. But otherwise, I would suggest to layer it with a more hydrating product. Apart from being hydrating, which I feel is more like a secondary thing about it, I would say the star ingredient really is the rosemary extract, and just the way it really helps my skin to calm down. I feel it really helps with, it's funny because again, rosemary can be quite volatile if you have sensitive skin, which is why I was a little bit skeptical using it when I got it in my advent calendar. It was in my mean advent calendar. But really, it just does the opposite of being volatile. It just seems very calming to my skin, and it just really seems to, I don't want to use the word because it sounds, again, very aggressive and volatile, but it almost seems to have a disinfecting effect on my skin. I feel it just really calms down any areas of redness and any areas of inflammation. It's definitely quite noticeably anti-inflammatory, and I just feel it is a bit of a secret sort of potentially acne helping, or at least let's not say acne, because acne is a skin disease and I don't want to make any claims to that. Let's say breakout soothing and very gently disinfecting sort of secret superstar, and maybe more people should talk about it. It also has antioxidant properties, so it could also help a little bit with anti-aging and giving your skin a little bit of free radical combating powers. If that is of interest to you, and I feel especially with oily skin, with combo skin, pore issues and issues with excess sebum, this is a fantastic product. I really want more people to try it. It's so good. It is also from a natural organic brand. So, oh, wait a minute. I think AROMATICA is not fully organic, semi-organic. I think they use some organic ingredients, but also from a cruelty-free brand. I feel AROMATICA is a really fantastic brand overall to support. So yeah, see if you can find it on special somewhere at Stylevana or Yes Style, or somewhere in Europe or in the US at some of the shops that carry AROMATICA. And I really want you to try it out and let me know how you get on with it, because I just want more people to try it. And the next, in my opinion, highly underrated product is actually from a brand that is very, very hyped in the K-beauty, English-speaking K-beauty community. It's interesting because I met the brand at a trade fair in 2017 in Germany, when hardly anyone knew them, when they were truly still an obscure brand. And now I feel they're one of the most successful, most hyped indie brands from Korea I can think of, almost, except again Cosrx. Although Cosrx is not indie anymore because they've been bought up by, in parts, bought up by, I think, Estee Lauder. I have to double check, but I think it was Estee Lauder. So Isntree, I believe, is still independent. And they're really, first of all, they're just the nicest people you can think of. And also Isntree is just, they just make fantastic products. I've yet to try a product that I didn't like. Their peeling pads I didn't like that much, but they weren't terrible. They were just not 100% as amazing as some of the other peeling pads I've tried, but everything else, the hyaluronic acid toners, the hyaluronic acid ampoule, just fantastic. The mugwort products, I really want to try the mugwort ampoule as well. I haven't tried it yet, but just a fantastic brand. So Isntree, certainly not an obscure brand. However, this particular product, this one, wrong side, this one, which is the Isntree Clear Skin PHA Sleeping Mask, is, I believe, a very well-kept secret. No one ever talks about it, truly no one except me, and I keep talking about it, but somehow just no one really picks up on the hype that I'm trying to create, probably because not that many people follow me. But it's just something I don't understand, because it's so, so good. So what is the secret of the sleeping mask? Well, this one again is better for oily skin and anyone with congestion issues, especially if you get sort of gunky, oily pores overnight, then this is the one to get, 100%. This mask contains 4% PHA, which is polyhydroxy acid. This is a type of chemical peel that is a lot gentler than AHAs and also a lot gentler than BHAs. It sort of combines, in a way, the best things about AHAs and BHAs, because it can help with oiliness, but it also gives you this sort of glow because it polishes off your skin. It removes dead skin cells. I can't verify this. You have to ask a dermatologist, please. But I have read that apparently PHA is even gentle enough to be used for rosacea. But again, if you have rosacea, always ask the dermatologist, please. I personally really like PHA because I feel it gives me more of a glow than AHAs, and it is also less drying than AHAs. So for me, an absolute superstar ingredient that I just feel more people need to talk about, because it's a great alternative if you don't do that well with glycolic acid and all the other AHAs. This sleeping mask contains 4% gluconolactone, which is a PHA. This is the most commonly used one in most of the products I know. 4%, it's certainly not super much, but it is enough to have an effect. I use a PHA peeling from Geek and Gorgeous, my favorite European indie brand, derma brand. One day I have to do a full video overview of all their products, because I have literally tried every single one of their products. And this peeling with PHA has, I believe, also 4%, or maybe it was 6%. No, it's 4%, because I think then it has 2% BHA and 6% acids in general. Yeah, 4%. So it's the same amount. And I can definitely tell that it makes a difference to my skin, and I've been using it for a long time. I feel with the Isntree mask, for me, this one is better to use once in a while. It just has a very good overnight effect. I don't think you need it every night. However, I noticed that especially in summer, I use this all the time, because in summer your skin produces more oil. My skin gets a lot more oily and my pores just look far more prominent. And the way I tend to use this is I just put it in my T-zone on all the areas where I see my pores just getting kind of gunky and gross. So especially around the eyes, but I also tend to put it here on the cheeks. I sleep on this side. I try to train myself to sleep on the back, but when you're just half asleep, you kind of turn around. It's very hard to stop. And I do get breakouts here, especially in summer, because again, you sweat more, you're oilier, and that just causes more breakouts. And so I use this almost like a spot treatment just on the areas where I have congestion or breakouts. And it does an amazing job to just heal them faster, to sort of almost seal them off and make sure that they are protected from more bacteria. And they really just clean out and clear out that area in the most amazing way. Whenever I use this overnight, I instantly notice a difference the next day in just the clarity of my skin. And also it just looks almost like a little bit polished in that area. I have also used it all over my face sometimes. I don't do that often because even though it isn't drying, it does kind of take away quite a bit of excess oil. At my age, you don't want to take away too much of the sebum, because then you just look kind of crumbly, shall we say. That's the right word. But if I were in my 20s, I'm pretty sure I would use this far more often at night. This is almost like a paste-like texture. So it is a little bit strange at first when you put it on. It feels very silicone-y, but it actually isn't too uncomfortable on the skin, and your skin can still breathe and still feel happy. Use this as your last layer at night. And again, try it out first, maybe on the areas where you might have blackheads or congestion, where you feel you have excess sebum, and then see how well your skin does with it. It is not dry. I don't find it drying at all. And it's also not aggressive at all. So don't be scared of it. But if you're new to acids, it's always good to just be a little bit careful, just in case you don't want to wreck your skin barrier. But I've never had problems with this. I find it a fantastic product. It's also really affordable. It lasts forever because you only need a tiny, teeny bit. And more people need to try it, in my opinion. Okay, next up, number 4 of, in my opinion, some of the most underrated key beauty products at the moment is a product that this one really baffles me. Why is no one talking about it? Why is no one, and I mean no one, talking about this? This is right up everyone's alley. I cannot see a single person who wouldn't find this product beneficial, and it's really also very affordable. So baffled, I'm truly baffled. And I'm talking about the Our Vegan Heartleaf 98 Cica Serum, which is this one. And you can maybe see that it is a huge, you can also see my fingerprints, sorry for that. This is a huge bottle. This is 100 milliliters of serum. It lasts forever. I've been using this for quite a while and it's only like here. It looks like I hardly used it, but I've used it a lot because I love this one. And I feel once summer hits and the warmer weather, I will use it even more because it is actually a perfect summer serum. And it is fantastic also if you have hay fever like me at the moment. I'm just constantly inflamed. My entire skin is just angry at me for all the pollen that is hitting it. It's been a mess. It's been really warm here in Germany. So the pollen is just like happy, and I'm very unhappy, and so is my skin. This serum has been a lifesaver. So why is this such an amazing product? Why do I think it just really deserves my hype? It features the world's best combination of 2 of the best plant extracts for sensitive, redness-prone, acne-prone, inflamed, unhappy skin that I can think of, which is, of course, Centella asiatica and Heartleaf extract or Hutuinia cordata. The only thing missing is mugwort to make it perfect, but it's fine. This is already pretty good. So it features 98% Heartleaf extract, which is of course why it's called 98, Heartleaf 98 Cica Serum, plus Centella Asiatica extract, plus a couple of humectants. It is fully vegan as well. It is cruelty-free. Our Vegan is a sub-brand from a pretty well-known brand, Manufactory, very, very popular in Korea. I forgot who was the brand ambassador, but it was someone very famous and beautiful. I remember that. A lot of their fermented skincare products are very, very popular. They constantly win prizes. Their cleansing oil, the Manufactory cleansing oil, I think won most popular cleansing oil awards for years and years. Won it again for 2021 for Olive Young, for the Olive Young Awards, or however they're called. So very popular brand. Our Vegan is still a newer sub-brand. Again, of course, if you've watched my first video, kind of trying to tap into that slightly uncomfortable clean beauty marketing that I don't like that much. But given that it's an amazing product, I will forgive them for that. The texture of this serum is just so pleasant. It is very light. It is very watery, almost very runny, but I don't feel that, it doesn't feel like a toner. Sometimes serums that are very runny, I almost feel I'm using a toner, and then I feel they're almost overpriced for what they are, which is just a watery toner with not a lot of substance. But this one is not like that. The texture is runny, yes, but it is also very, very nourishing and wholesome. And if you have redness problems, this is the one to get. When I use this, especially overnight, I notice an instant difference. It really calms down my redness. It just calms down my entire skin. Also very clearly and noticeably provides a lot of humectant goodness. I think it contains glycerin from what I remember. And it just feels very light and yet provides you with exactly the type of hydration you need if you have combo skin, if you have very sensitive skin, if you're having a period where your skin barrier is weakened, maybe you use too many actives, no judgment here, I've done that as well. You just feel you can't really tolerate anything on your skin. This is the serum to grab. It is one of the gentlest serums I can think of. And again, it's just that winning combo of Centella Asiatica and Heartleaf. Heartleaf is almost as beneficial as Centella Asiatica. They're almost the same when it comes to the effect on your skin. Anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. I actually feel almost that Heartleaf is a stronger extract. It almost works better for my skin. It works better than mugwort too. To me, Hutuinia cordata or Heartleaf is a real superstar ingredient. Just give this one a try. It isn't even expensive. 100 milliliter bottle can easily be found on, I think I got mine on Jolt sale from what I remember, and I got it for like $18. Nothing to complain about. It's fantastic. Needs more love. I also really want to try the cream and the toner from that brand too. It's on my wish list. I think they also have sheet masks. I'm really keen on trying those. Now, the last underrated key beauty product, I have to say the name of it is a bit of a mouthful. I can never say it by heart. I always have to look at my notes or look at the packaging because it's just not the smoothest of names. And it's this one, which is a cream or a balm. And it is the Dr. Althea Resveratrol 345 NA Intensive Repair Cream. Quite the name. Be that as it may, despite the awkward name, it is it's such a lovely product, a wonderful moisturizer. And Dr. Althea, to me, so underrated. No one talks about them, and I can't stop talking about them apart from this particular cream. I actually had a hard time picking a product to highlight in this video from Dr. Althea because the entire brand is underrated, and I also love their cleanser And their sheet masks are so amazing. I just can never stop talking about Dr. Althea. But I did decide on this moisturizer because it just is, it's been blowing my mind, especially during winter. This is my second tube. This is the second one. And it isn't easy to get through a product like this. So that shows you how much I like it. In winter, it's my go-to at night. Just to save my skin from severe dehydration and other issues. So what is so great about this cream? Now, first of all, it contains the main ingredient, Resveratrol, which is an antioxidant, usually one from grapes. Or it's not an antioxidant, it's a polyphenol from what I remember. So a phytochemical. It usually gives that sort of tartness to grapes, for instance. It's also in certain red berries, certainly from what I remember in blueberries, I believe. You might know Resveratrol if you are from Europe, because French pharmacy brand Caudalie uses it in many of their products. It is sort of their superstar ingredients, especially in many of the anti-aging products. And what it mostly does is provide antioxidants, provide help to combat free radicals. So it helps to combat premature aging from pollution, from environmental issues, and from sun UV ray damage. Now, apart from containing resveratrol, this cream also has all sorts of other amazing ingredients that are very good both for anti-aging. Why do I always want to mix up anti-aging and antioxidant? Really good for anti-aging or smart aging if you want to be more woke. For smart aging, because there's nothing wrong with aging. We don't want to stop aging, because that's the only alternative if you want to stay alive over 30, that you will start aging. And it isn't as bad as everyone always thinks when they're still in their 20s. So apart from containing resveratrol, this cream also contains a whole host of really fantastic anti-aging or smart aging ingredients, especially peptides, which are very, very good for boosting collagen and just keeping skin nice and firm. It also contains turmeric extract, which is another antioxidant. Turmeric extract, also very good when you have oily skin, because it helps combat excess sebum. And fig extract, which can be hydrating and just helps to nourish the skin. What else was in there? Centella asiatica, and also calendula extract, which is very good for calming and soothing the skin. So it really is a bit of an all-rounder when it comes to taking care of your skin. Now, apart from the amazing ingredient list, here's the reason why I'm obsessed, and I mean obsessed with this product. It just has the most incredible texture. I've showed this so many times on my Instagram. I've also reviewed it on the blog, always putting all the reviews down there in the description box if I have reviewed it on the blog. And I just always try to capture how amazing this texture looks. And it's so hard to do if you haven't seen it live, and especially if you haven't experienced it on your skin. It just has this balmy texture, but I feel a lot of skincare balms feel almost kind of greasy and uncomfortable, especially if you don't have super dry skin. You know, it's always a bit difficult in winter for people with combo skin and oily skin to find a richer moisturizer that helps combat transepidermal water loss, you know, makes you dehydrated overnight. You want something occlusive on your skin, but you don't want it to be greasy. For instance, slugging, that new trend, which, by the way, not a K-beauty trend. It's not a K-beauty trend. It has nothing to do with K-beauty. Slugging does not work for my skin, because if I put Vaseline, pure Vaseline on my skin will most definitely not be happy. So this is kind of what I use for my version of slugging. So it does form a bit of an occlusive barrier, but in fact, it feels almost like a lotion. It is very smooth and it doesn't feel oily, it doesn't feel greasy, and it doesn't feel sort of grainy like sometimes balms can do as well. it just feels so nice on the skin. It has this nice slip when you put it on. It is a fantastic, wonderful, amazing product that I would really recommend also for dry skin, because it does have quite a bit of nourishing and richness. And if you're annoyed with the sort of paste-like or greasy texture of other balms, this is the one to try. This works best overnight, I would say. You can use it during the day too. I think it would play well under sunscreen or makeup, but I just feel it really shines when you use it overnight as the last step in your routine. Sometimes I almost use it like a sleeping cream on top of maybe a lighter gel moisturizer, and it makes my skin so plump, and so it feels so juicy and kind of springy and chuk, you know, to be a little bit awkward here and use a Korean phrase. Just try it out. Trust me, try it out. So yeah, those were my 5 underrated, underhyped, deserve far more love that they are getting K-beauty products that I really wanted to introduce to you, because I'm just so passionate about them. And I really feel more people need to know about them and try them out. And I hope you discovered some new gems, maybe something new for your wish list. I leave all the purchase links down in the description box if you're interested in getting any of them. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and take care. Bye.